My name is Anna. I am a labor and delivery nurse. I'm gonna finish up getting ready for the day. And while I do that, I'm just gonna talk about myself a little bit so you guys can get to know me a little more. I'll talk a little bit about my personal life and my career. So I have been a labor and delivery nurse for the past 10 years. I graduated from CSU Chico, which is in California. I do have my bachelor's degree. I started in labor and delivery, so I've never worked a different unit. I've always worked in a LDRP unit, which is labor, delivery, recovery, and postpartum, which is great because you get the best of both worlds. So I can do both labor and postpartum. Labor is my passion though. I think it's more of an adrenaline rush. You get to be more one-on-one with your patients. I got into labor and delivery through my nursing program. I wasn't exactly sure what unit I wanted to work on. Women's health was always the number one in my mind, but as far as how that would look, I wasn't sure if labor and delivery would be something I really loved or if working in a clinic would be something I loved. Anyways, so through my nursing school, I realized that this is absolutely the place I wanted to be. I did a preceptorship, which really got my foot in the door with labor and delivery, and the hospital that I did my preceptorship with actually wanted to hire me as a nurse. So I got offered the job before I even graduated, before I passed my NCLEX. So it was definitely an amazing opportunity and I took it. And I've been happy ever since. I get a lot of questions when people ask me, do you think I should start in med-surg first? Do you think that's a requirement? I definitely don't think that. I don't think there's any negative to that. I think it would really make you appreciate labor and delivery more because med-surg is really hard. A lot of new grads do start in med-surg, but I always tell people that you do not have to. I am a mother of two young children. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I am married. I've been married for 6 years now. I have an older brother and he works at a donut shop, so completely different from what I do. I do live in California. I've worked in the same hospital for the last 7 years and I absolutely love it. I am a big coffee drinker. I actually have one right now. This is a chai tea latte with a shot of espresso. So, excuse the train. I am near a railroad track. I really like to be outdoors. A random question that I always get asked is, would I ever consider advancing my career? To be honest with you, the idea of being a nurse practitioner does not sound appealing to me at all. Typically, when you advance your career and want to stay in women's health, you go through to the clinical side. So I love bedside nursing and being a labor nurse. So I personally have never seen a nurse practitioner work at the bedside when it comes to labor and delivery. I don't have any pets. My kids are already a handful. My favorite thing about being a labor and delivery nurse is that every day is different. There's no monotony and it's absolutely fun. It's just so fun, even with the emergencies. And of course, you are there for one of the most special, vulnerable times in a person's life. So that's really special because I do work in a small town and sometimes my patients notice me outside of work and they'll tell me stories about how they remember this and that from their birth, which is awesome. I always tell people I'm training or even nursing students that a patient may not remember your name, but they'll always remember how you made them feel, especially when it comes to birth. My least favorite thing about the job, I have a couple, is charting. Wouldn't it be great if we could just be nurses and not chart? But you learn in school that if you didn't chart, it didn't happen. Of course, fetal demise when a mom loses a baby and maternal death too. Both of these things are really rare. I always say labor and delivery is good. It's so good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And those are just things that, you have to work through. talk to someone, your coworkers, debriefing, that really helps. And another thing that's hard about the job is just, seeing babies that are addicted to substances because the mom was, using during pregnancy. It's just hard to see those babies suffer like that. So I would say those are the top things that I don't like about my career, but overall the pros completely outweighed the cons. To social media in 2020, when the pandemic seemed to be at its peak and morale was down, I recently heard of TikTok. I don't even know when TikTok was invented. I was full-time nights, and I just made a funny video with a coworker, and it kind of just took off. It blew up. And then I did an educational video because at that time, in-person birth classes, were ripped away from us because of the pandemic. So I did that, and people tend to like that too. So it just kind of snowballed into something bigger, and I just kept doing it. And here I am today. I've just gotten such amazing opportunities through this process. And I've gotten a lot of messages and comments saying people are inspired by the things I do, so how can I stop doing it at this point? And I absolutely love it. It is a passion for the creative side in me. I mean, nursing isn't too creative, but when you put social media and nursing together, in my mind, it creates so many things. And again, it's just allows me to express fun things, educational things. People often ask me what I would suggest for someone who wants to go into labor and delivery. So as far as increasing your chances of getting into labor and delivery, if you're a nursing student, try to do an internship, a preceptorship in labor and delivery, because that's gonna look great on a resume and it's great experience. Another thing I tell people is that get your NRP, so neonatal resuscitation program. From my experience, every labor and delivery nurse is required to have that. If you don't work at a hospital, you can call their education department and ask them if they allow people from outside of the hospital to take the class. And typically it is a long waiting list, but if you call in advance, you might be able to go get in. Or you can go to resuscitation.org and check that out. I know there's online options to get your NRP. Another thing is go and take a fetal monitoring course. I know A1 has them online and people seem to like that. So those are two main things that I suggest to add to a resume. They look really good, and it's really good information. I do real estate investing, which is really boring, so I never talk about it, but it's a huge part of my life. So I'm an investor. I absolutely love anything scary. Scary movies, horror, love it. I wouldn't say I'm an extrovert, but I wouldn't say I'm an introvert. I'm, I guess, right in the middle. But before I started doing social media, I would definitely say I was an introvert. In fact, sometimes in person, I could probably even be awkward or very quiet. But through this process, I have blossomed, I guess you could say, more. And I've learned a lot about myself, and I've met some amazing people through this process. So if you guys have any questions for me, comment below and I'll try to answer them. Anything at all, whether it be personal or anything about labor and delivery nursing, and I will try to answer them. And subscribe to my channel if you are liking my videos. Thanks for watching.